All right, so today I want to talk about this story at a CNN, and what I wanted to talk about was specifically the left side, the idea of wanting free taxpayer funded, it's not free, taxpayer funded healthcare, but also wanting open borders, also wanting massive amounts of immigration. And it's a crazy idea because like I always talk about with the left, they view resources and or money as if you can't pay for something, then you can always just print more money or you can always just tax people more. That's basically the left's view. And if you're saying, oh no, that's not the left's view, you don't know what you're talking about, that has to be their view. There's no other option because if there's no other options, then they would have to disagree with their own premise. So please don't try and make that argument. They view they view money and resources as being unlimited. And the reason why they believe, well, I mean, I'm not going to get into the reason why because it'll take forever. Um, they believe that, and because they believe that, that's why they view Republicans or conservatives as racist or as mean and nasty, because in their mind, money, resources, access to healthcare, all that kind of stuff it's an unlimited supply because like they believe you can always just print more money, you can always just tax people more. So the only reason that you'd want to limit the healthcare or welfare is because you're crazy, you're racist, you're nasty, you're mean. And that's the fundamental contradiction. But the thing that I want to challenge people that believe this kind of stuff is that how can you simultaneously offer free healthcare to anybody who comes into the country, and don't try and argue that's not what you're advocating for, because if you're advocating for open borders, that means that anybody who wants to come, anybody who can get in, can get access to that. And we pretty much have that in Canada right now. I mean, anybody who says there's a refugee, anybody who gets into Canada says they're a refugee can get free healthcare. They can even get free dental stuff that like even citizens can't even get. So it's crazy. I mean, that's the other thing too is I know this is a story from the States, but this is something that Canada is already doing. But the States it would be on a much bigger scale, so that's why it's a little more significant there. And like I say, it's crazy because how can you simultaneously have the two? The amount of money that it would cost to do that is like such a massive amount. But the reason they think they can do that is because, like I say, money and resources are unlimited. You can just print more. You can just tax people more. So, and that's why people on the right they think of people on the left as like so stupid, but in an essence they are, but in certain ways they aren't because, like I say, they believe that money and resources are unlimited. That you can always just print more money. You can always just tax people more. And I want to get into the reasons why you can't just do those things. The reason why you can't just print more money is because you'll have massive amounts of inflation. Massive amounts of inflation hurt the poor the most because when food prices go up, 5-10%, and incomes don't go up in equal to that, which they won't, at least most of the time. That's going to hurt the poor people the most because poor people are generally living paycheck to paycheck, which means it's going to hurt them the most. Someone who's rich or upper middle class, they can bite the difference. It's not going to hurt them, but it hurts the poor. And that's the other thing too. Like I mentioned in another video, I can't stand that about the left is that they simultaneously claim to care so much about the poor, which they don't. They just use them for power purposes. Um, but yet they implement policies and they print massive amounts of money, which hurts the poor. The reason why you can't just keep raising taxes because the more you raise taxes, the more likely people are to either leave your country or your province or your state, or just find other ways to get around the taxes. They'll just write off a bunch more stuff. They'll find loopholes here or there. The studies are pretty clear, at least from what I've heard, is that the more you raise people's taxes, the more they're going to find ways around it or just say F it and just leave. And I don't see how anybody could actually argue against that because it's just perfectly normal human psychology. The less incentive there is to do something, the less likely someone is to be able to want to do it, right? That's basic human psychology. I don't think see how anyone could disagree with that. But I just wanted to get this point across too, because if anybody who's on the left or anybody who's watching this and knows someone who believes in this kind of stuff, like ask them. I mean, you're not going to get a straight answer out of them. You're not going to get an answer that makes any amount of sense. But I'm wondering, like, how can you simultaneously want open borders, want endless amounts of immigration, and want free healthcare? Like, I'd love to know. Like I say, it doesn't make any sense. Um, the only way it can make sense is like what I said, is that I'm not going to keep repeating this anymore, but the reason why they believe in that kind of stuff, and the only logical reason, there's no other logical reason. It's not, well, we care about the poor. You can't. That's like saying you care about someone who you're friends with, and they're a drug user, and your solution is just to keep letting them use drugs. You don't care about someone if you get them hooked on that kind of stuff. And that's the other problem with the whole free healthcare welfare state, is that it encourages people to use that kind of stuff, not to fend for themselves. It encourages people to get hooked on that kind of stuff. And that's why, people are so, part of the reason why people are so unhealthy nowadays. And people argue, well, people in the States are more overweight than Canadians. I think that's true, but it's a very small difference. But the other thing too is that the States is nowhere near a free market system. I think about 55% of every dollar spent on healthcare in the US is government funded. It's Medicare, money. So the States is nowhere near a free market system. People think that it's a free market system because it's not fully socialist like Canada, but it's nowhere. That's like saying that I don't know a good comparison when it comes to healthcare, but like it's like Bernie Sanders comparing Denmark to socialist or socialism, or saying they're socialist when they say they're not, just to try to make his point. So that's kind of what they do. Not only that, if you ask the average person in the States, they're more satisfied with their healthcare than Canadians are. So anyone who when the topic of healthcare comes up, brings up the states and tries to use it as a, oh, well, the Canadian system's better argument. They have no idea what they're talking about, because people in the states have better health care. So it makes no sense. But anyway, I wanted to make a video about this because it's something that it's an unanswered question on the left. Is that, like I say, how can you simultaneously want open borders and want free healthcare and massive amounts of welfare? Like, please explain to me how you can logically do that and for it to work long term. Anyway, if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more, and please donate to me. I got my PayPal linked in the description. I'd really appreciate it if you do that.